Until recently, there wasn't much difference between the way Singapore was handling COVID-19 compared to us, with lockdowns, social distancing, daily case statistics, and mask wearing. Emily Rayner moved there with her partner for work 5 months before the pandemic kicked off.
Quite quickly, the Singapore government got in control of the COVID situation. And even though the situation was relatively stable, those social distancing measures have remained in place throughout.
It's not about what side you take. It's about the data and what the science teaches us.
Professor Tiki Pangestu is an international authority on public health based in Singapore, which is just coming out of a significant outbreak.
It resulted in about 30 different clusters in different parts of the island. So that's what really triggered the current set of restrictions.
The outbreak caused several hundred cases and is coming under control. But what's changed is the impact of vaccination. 59% of the population have had their first dose and 37% their second of either Pfizer or Moderna.
I think it has been a major game changer. For example, the recent clusters that we saw, they have all happened in people who have been vaccinated, and they only suffered mild symptoms and there was no hospitalization.
Here's a breakdown. Over the past 28 days, there were no hospitalizations amongst those fully vaccinated. For people partially vaccinated, a small group required oxygen and intensive care. And the only deaths recorded were in unvaccinated people.
What I think the Singapore government has tried to do throughout is find a balance between social measures and restricting its people and leaving the economy open. And certainly now it's come out publicly and acknowledged that COVID-0 is unattainable.
The progress we are making on our vaccination program is the light at the end of the tunnel.
It is predicated on no longer having a goal of zero transmission. It is built on extending the vaccination coverage. It is built on targeted, more convenient and more rapid testing. It is targeted on making sure that the healthcare system can deal with severe cases of COVID. It is also focused on doing away with quarantine for vaccinated travelers in due course, and also on social responsibility.
Every country has had their share of success and also of failures over this period of time.
Australia now has a 4-stage plan to eventually treat COVID like any other infectious disease. While we're in the first stage, Singapore is already between stages 2 and 3.
The post-vaccination phase will be entered once we reach a threshold of vaccination to be determined by the modelling process we're currently engaged in.
What Singapore is doing is looking at a situation like what we have in Australia right now for measles, right? We have eliminated measles in Australia. That doesn't mean outbreaks won't occur, but the outbreak never takes off and sweeps the whole country because we have herd immunity.
Here in Australia, 30% of the population is vaccinated with a first dose and 9% with a second.
Communicable diseases impact on more than just the individual.
Infectious disease and vaccine expert Professor Raina McIntyre has led modelling on what our vaccination targets should be for herd immunity and sufficient protection against severe disease.
We get to that stage when we have more than 70 to 80% of the population vaccinated. I think that's going to be in 2022. The best we're doing right now is sort of 30,000 vaccines a day in a city like Sydney. We need to be doing 300,000 vaccines a day.
Achieving the same vaccination level as Singapore isn't out of reach. According to the revised rollout we heard about last week, we're almost at 1 million vaccinations a week already. So once Pfizer is shipped in larger quantities, we should be ready to move. Arms bared, of course.
I really hope the conversation in Australia shifts from being one, which it currently is, about zero COVID and about keeping people from overseas out because they may carry the virus, to one about risk. What is that risk and what can we deal with?
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 730's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.